The next thing I want to talk about is social media breakfast. Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Boston, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
We have a great social media, for lack of a better word, group, community.
I like community.
In this area. I've met a lot of people online that I have now met offline, and it has been, and it happens all the time. People that I've met online, I've now met offline at social media breakfast, or any other number of events that are sort of in that same forum. I would want you to talk a little bit about how that got started, where you think it is now, where you think it's going.
Sure. Social Media Breakfast Fort Wayne was originally, Social Media Breakfast was an original brainchild of some guys in Boston. I'll spare you all the details on it, but basically they said, wow, this is kind of interesting. We think other people should do this as well. And so they created a website where you could go in and you could say, I want Fort Wayne and I want Indianapolis, and there would be some promotional tools that were available there for you. And then Karen Van Gorder from IPFW, and I'm not sure who all was involved in that originally, decided that they were going to run one here in Fort Wayne. And that was pretty bold of them, because it's really outside of their normal day-to-day operations. Right. It's not really what they do. So they got it going.
IPFW is a great place, though.
They are. And that's why I say it's just not inside of their normal day-to-day. I mean, they have things that they have to do every day, and social media isn't one of them.
And for those of you who don't know, IPFW is a local college in Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne.
Yep.
And they really do a lot, not just for their students, but for the community as a whole.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so because it wasn't really something that they engage in every day as part of their normal business practice, it was difficult for them to schedule. They didn't know the speakers in the area. They didn't necessarily know the people who should be attending and so forth, because they weren't active in those channels. That's not a bad thing. They just weren't.
Right.
And so they asked me to take it over for them, so because it was starting to wane at the tail end of it. So because I don't have nearly enough things on my plate, I said, oh, sure, why not? And so we started doing that, and with the help of other people, we have speakers that come in that talk about social media things. We talk about whether or not it's new or not, and we talk about how to use video like this. We talk about how to use social media with search engine optimization. We talk about all of these various different things that people can find some of that information on the web. They can go out and accumulate it. This is a nice condensed, method each month, the last Tuesday of every month, where we can get together as like-minded individuals who are trying to figure all of this stuff out and feed both our bellies and our brains and figure out what's the next step. What should we be looking at? And
hopefully there will be bacon.
And hopefully there will be bacon. Bacon is a big score anytime that we can get bacon. And that's what it's about. And we say at every one of them, it's not about one company. It's not about Cirrus ABS. It is about free marketing and free networking and free conversation across multiple companies. Everybody's welcome to come to that event.
For those people who are outside of Northeast Indiana, the Fort Wayne area, how would you recommend that they would look into? Well, first of all, would you recommend them to look for something like this? Secondly, how do they do that?
Well, I think, I sat down on Saturday with two people, 23 Skidoo, at 23 Skidoo on Twitter. I can't remember how many zeros. I think she has a bunch of zeros after it. And at Ryan Fox, a couple that moved from Boston. And I was sitting down with them at the Dash Inn downtown when they had an event that was promoted via social media, and I found out about it through social media, and I
That's
went
the avant-garde.
the Drop Your Avant-Garde
Right.
Event that was down there. And so here I am sitting down with people that just arrived here months ago from Boston, and they said to me, they said through between the Social Media Breakfast Fort Wayne events and through Twitter and through some of the other social events that they've gone to, it has helped them to make friends and acclimate themselves to our area. And so what I would tell somebody is go to socialmediabreakfast. I think it's .com, or just do a search for Social Media Breakfast, and you'll see if there's one in your area. Go to meetup.com and see what other social events are going on in your area. Go to Twitter and do a pound city name search and start watching to see the traffic that comes through there if you're new to an area or if you want to get more involved in that, because you'll start to see people who are running events and that are pointing to events. You can do the same thing through Facebook as well.
Right. Well, I think that it's been a great thing. I've been talking about doing video for 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the first social media event I went to was talking about how to best implement
mm-hmm.
video. And I went back to the office, and within a day or two started doing video.
Yes. That's a score.
Right. And it's been, to me, that's one of the best things that we have gotten ourselves involved in. We've met a ton of new people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, I thought I had a pretty good contact list, but it's just incrementally grown
mm-hmm.
by the way I've gotten to know people.
Social media, to me, there's a lot of different uses for it, but social media to me is the extension of offline communications. I already knew you, but we are now extending that conversation online.
Right.
And it is one of the most cost-effective and easiest ways to augment your current network by finding other people. And then take those relationships that you have online and eventually move those to offline. Now, obviously, I talk to people in all parts of the world, and I may never meet some of them face to face, but I'll tell you what, the ones that are in areas, even if I travel to different cities like Florida or whatever, and I make a point to go visit somebody that I've met online, those are warm meetings, not cold meetings.
Right.
Because we've already had a conversation online. We already kind of have a rapport that is going there. And so it's a very warm conversation. And so, I like the TEDx event that we recently had, one of the gals there said, I wish I could remember her name, I think it starts with an L, but she said, talk to strangers. And I love that, because I think that we, for so long, we're telling people don't talk to people on the internet, don't go meet them face to face. And well, I think it's a bad idea to meet them in a van down by the river. You definitely can get a meeting set where it's in a public area or where there's events, and you can have that warm conversation.
Meeting them online and then meeting them at events, I think, is a great. The online is a great icebreaker, and then meeting them with at Social Media Breakfast or the Tweet Up at Cancer Services, or whatever it may be.
And again, this isn't new. My best friend, arguably the best friend that I have, certainly the top two, they can fight it out if they want, but it came as a result of me going to a LAN party. So here I was playing computer online games with a group of people, and they said, hey, we're going to have this small event in this guy's garage. Bring your computer over, we'll hook them all up, and we'll kill each other virtually there. Okay? And so I go to this event, meet this guy
in person, virtually.
in person, and he's over there, and I'm shooting him virtually.
Right.
But anyway, and we form a friendship because we have mutual interests. And he is now one of my best friends. Why do we deprive ourselves of that opportunity? Well, some people are not comfortable with it, and that is why people need to understand that social media isn't necessarily for everybody. We have huge adoption rates, growing adoption rates, but it's still not everybody.
Right.
And there are people who are not doing that. And that's fine. That is why we still have other marketing methods to reach those people, and why those methods haven't gone completely away. But yeah, I mean, I think meeting people face to face, the relationships that then are forged are priceless.